First of all, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. I'm all fresh, like just ready to go. My first question for you would be, who is the funniest person in the set of High School Musical, the musical, the series? Like the person who cracks you up the most. Who is it? Is it you?
Ugh. Um, Oof, that's so hard because everyone's so funny. If I had to say one, probably Frankie. Frankie is literally like his comedic timing is impeccable. And I feel like you can see that from his character on the show is already so funny, but he genuinely is that funny in real life too. He's constantly making me laugh to the point where I like would almost pee my pants sometimes. But yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, no, I can tell from the show, but I just wanted to make sure, you never know. You never know with these
Right.
things. But
Right, of course, they are good actors for sure.
yeah, I'm sure all of you are. And what are you excited for people to see when they meet Danny in High School Musical?
I'm excited for people. I mean, she's definitely different. She's very different from the other Wildcats in the sense that I think she brings this kind of like no filter um and this like spiciness to her that is sometimes a little like whoa, like girl, calm down. But I think it's kind of funny seeing how she interacts with the rest of the Wildcats, and how ultimately they kind of end up rubbing off on her. And I think it's really cool seeing her arc throughout the season and how she, starts off at level 10 and gradually kind of I don't know, starts to find her place and become a little more like the Wildcats in the sense that like she's definitely not as like intimidating and as cold as she kind of comes off in the beginning. So I think that'll be cool for the fans to see.
Yeah, being humbled is a part of East High. You can't enter East High without being humbled if you taken down a few
Right.
notches.
Totally, exactly.
And were you nervous about joining a cast that had been working together for 3 seasons before you joined, or were you
Oh
just like
yeah.
organically stepped in?
Totally. No, I think there's a bit of that, of course, when, thinking about the fact that they've been together for 4 years. This show has been in the making for a while, and I could only imagine how close they were, especially how many years they've all been together as a cast. There was definitely a piece of me that was like, ooh, like I hope that they welcome me, like I hope that they're cool. And they honestly exceeded my expectations so much. They're all probably like the kindest group of people I've ever worked with. They welcomed me with open arms from day one. So nothing but the best to say about all of them.
Yeah. How could they not? How could they not? Can you imagine if there were like super terrible people behind the scenes?
Uh, no, not this group.
No, I know that's not the case, but it's been said that Sharpay served as an inspiration for Danny, but I was curious about what else served as an inspiration. What did you as Kylie brought to Danny to the role?
Um, well, yeah, definitely Sharpay. There's something about Danny that I feel like is a little reminiscent of that kind of that girl that I feel like people are familiar with in high school. That is that classic girl that's like the first to audition for all the plays and like is willing to step on people's toes to get that role or to get ahead. So I think there's definitely a bit of that with Danny. I also was kind of using Regina George from Mean Girls as one of my inspirations, one of my favorite characters of all time, because I feel like with Regina, like she is not a nice person and she can definitely be like conniving, but she presents herself in a way that's like, oh, she's perfect and she seems sweet from the outside, but underlying there's always like this bit of like um kind of spiciness to her, which I definitely saw that with Danny. But yeah, I feel like the cool thing about Danny is although she can come off strong in the beginning, I think we see an arc throughout the season where we kind of peel back the layers and realize like, oh, she isn't just, completely full of herself and thinks that she's, top notch. Like she has insecurities too and self-doubt. So I think it's cool to see how she changes throughout the season.
Yeah, and she's inspired by all the queens, by all the baddies. So she's bringing like the entire force to her character.
Totally. She is a baddie. for
Uh,
sure.
Yeah, that's how she's officially described in High School Musical, by the way. I'm coining that. But
I love
going going to a different subject, you're about to star in Descendants, The Rise of Red, and I wanted to ask, how is that going to be different from what has come before in that franchise?
Uh, um, well, I definitely will say that there's certain aspects to this new Descendants film that can, I feel like, be a little bit darker than the original movies. My character Red, she's definitely an anti-hero. She does not want to be a role model. She kind of does things and all to like the beat of her own drum and kind of goes against the status quo in a lot of ways, which is very similar to like the OG villain kids, like Mal and Evie. So I think she's very similar in that way. But and also what's really cool about this movie is that it's really just about friendship, and like there's not like I literally do not want to give anything away, which I feel like if I say anything, it could give it away. But it's really a story about friendship, and Red and Chloe, the daughter of Cinderella, like they could not be more different, but they come together to, ultimately save the world in a sense. But yeah, it's really cool seeing that friendship aspect.
Well, thank you for sharing the entire plot of the new Descendants movie to me. I will make sure Disney is aware of that. And no, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. But it does look like a very interesting concept that I can't wait to see. But also, you have a single coming up. You wrote it in 10 minutes. And I was wondering if you could do that all over again. I think we have the time. Is that no? I'm just messing with
On the
you. Like,
spot right now.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
like
it.
right now. We have 15 minutes left. Use 10 to write another one.
Oh,
No, I'm
geez, I
kidding.
haven't warmed up.
I'm kidding, but I did want to ask you, what do you think would be the right mood for listening to your new song?
Mm, Well, I feel like with my music in general, and especially with like, yeah, those 10-minute songs that I write, I usually really write it from the perspective of like what's gonna empower girls. I'm all about girl power and just making people feel like they're best when they're listening to my music. And I think with this song, Text Go Green, it's really just all about that. It's all about just empowering. And yeah, if there's like a toxic relationship that's going on in your life, like this song is the perfect one to listen to give you that like motivation to, get out of that toxic relationship. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe of the song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come blasting out of the speakers on my birthday party. I seriously can't wait for that. But also, my final question, just do you enjoy singing more than acting? For example, what would you like your career to look like moving forward? Do you want to be known as a singer or as an actress or both?
Um, well, it's really hard to pick. I mean, I've definitely in my mind seen myself more singer first and actress second. That's kind of always how I've seen it. And, I've been singing, I feel like way longer than I have been acting. I can't even remember when I started singing. It just was always something I did. But I think that's the really cool thing about, especially High School Musical and Descendants. Like there are projects where I get to combine the two worlds. And it's just been a dream getting to combine those two aspects. But I love singing, I love acting, and I love that I get the chance to do both and combine them sometimes. And I just want to continue to do it.
That's beautiful. Can't wait to see the future of your career. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a wonderful day today.
Thank you.